But today's Tuesday, and it's August the 30th, 2022, and it's 7:33 by my clock. And the fact that you are here is an indication that that you value information and you find some value in this presentation, this program on the evenings. And thank you very much for doing that. But more significantly, someone invited you. If you're here for the first time, someone invited you because they thought that there may be something that you might benefit from in coming to a presentation like this, because there's so many other things that you could be doing on a Tuesday evening, which is often time spent with family. So we applaud you for taking time out of your busy schedules to join us. Our focus today, or our subject matter, is health as a choice, and I strongly believe that. I believe that we can decide how we feel, and we can decide whether we have good health or not. I still remember very vividly a story that I was told by someone that I know was relating truthful and factual information. They said that there was a gentleman, friend, who had been diagnosed with a very serious disease, and I think it was a cancer. And he was shown a video, something like Forks Over Knives, and it was tracing information as to. If you've never seen that video, by the way, it's an eye opener, so you might want to check it out. There's another one that you might want to check out too. It's, Escape Fire. Search for it. It ran on CNN about 10, 12 years ago. Sanjay Gupta hosted it, but you can find it. It's a video, DVD. Interesting documentary about the medical system. Escape Fire. But anyway, this gentleman was told that if he changed his diet, made the adjustments, and cut out X, Y, Z, and ABC from his diet, and only ate, LMNOP, whatever it was. And he said, I would rather die. And he did. He refused to change his diet, and what he consumed killed him. So true story. I'm not making that up. That's not hyperbole, and it's not just for illustration purposes. So good health is a choice, and I strongly believe that. So you made a decision to try to find some information that might be of benefit to you. The FDA has not evaluated any of these remarks. I always get to this point where my computer looks like it's having some problems. You may be hearing testimonials. You may be hearing some testimonials today that individuals may be relating that they believe are true. Testimonials are purely anecdotal. What happens to one person may or may not happen to you. We strongly advise of professionals that you trust, and I encourage you, don't do anything I say just because I say it. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm a researcher. I do research. I'm the research director for the Healthcare Support Association of America, and I've aligned myself with Engage Global because I believe that Dr. Prasad is one of the most brilliant men on the planet, and I believe that his formulas are unique, and I'm even more convinced now that I believe his formulas are absolutely the best in the world. And I have not seen anything yet that falls into the category, into the class of formulations that Dr. Prasad has presented. And I've been around this industry now for 35 years and serious about doing research, because what drove me was trying to find a solution to my wife's problems. So that's where I stand with this. But do your own research. We're going to provide you with information that can be of great value and benefits to you or to someone that you care about. If you'd like to know any of the source material, feel free to just invited you. They'll know how to get in with me or Jeff. We'll be happy to send you, links to any of the references that we have. And as a reminder, if you're here, please tell us who invited you. Just put it in the chat. Tell us your name, what state you're from, and who invited you to this presentation. Well, what we'd like to do is we'd like to share a little video with you, kind of lay the foundation for our discussion. I'm going to be focusing on good gut health today, but we want to set the tone by showing a video of someone telling their story. their story of their relationship with something that they consumed that was produced or formulated by Dr. Kedar Prasad. So Jeff, surprise us.
Okay, here we go. This is several years back with Miss Connie Jo Kirk, and a pretty incredible experience once you get through all of the litany of challenges that she was having. You absolutely come out on the other end saying, you know, Micro Daily's got to work. So here we go.
My name is Connie Jo Kirk, and I'm a victim of scarlet fever at the age of 4, and I think I was about 6 months when I had another fever. Oh, as a result, scarlet fever ruined my body. It scarred my organs and intestines and so forth, and my hearing cavities, collapsed eustachian canals. I've had 9 surgeries. I've been through a windshield. I've been temporarily paralyzed. I've had growth after growth taken out. I have a perforated hole in my eardrum, 45%. And like I said, collapsed eustachian canals. Half of my thyroid's gone, 2 of my parathyroid, 1 of my 5 lymphatic glands gone. My adenoids and tonsils are gone. My heart, lungs, everything is scarred. In fact, I couldn't have children because my fallopian tubes and so forth were severely scarred. I have hearing loss. I have severe osteoarthritis. I've had knee surgery, feet, and everything. I've been on MMF for a week and a half. I had severe Charlie horses that would wake me up in the night. I would get up and go to the bathroom 7 to 9 times a night. Bladder would barely make it. And I had my ear, nose, and throat doctor wanted to test me for sleep apnea, all kinds of things. I've been on MMF. I sleep all night. I think I get up maybe once or twice. My leg cramps, the Charlie horses started pulling away. I'm walking without a cane. I'm walking faster. I used to have trouble trying to get up out of a chair. I had to wiggle my feet and shake my legs to get the circulation back so that I could stand up. When I would walk, it felt as though I was walking on air. My legs were so shaky. Now I'm practically running. I'm doing things that I never thought I could do. My hearing is getting better. I went to my bedroom to get something a while ago and freshen up. Left my glasses on the counter and started in here without glasses, I wasn't even blinking. My eyes weren't blurry. They weren't, you feel funny when you have your glasses off. Now, I just put them on because I paid a lot of money for them. And I expected to not be using them hopefully in about 3 months. My blood pressure seems to have gone down. I'm not having as much trouble with my cholesterol. I have acid reflux. Haven't had an incident since I've started on MMF. But I tell you, I prayed for this and God answered my prayer.
So Jonathan, I got to step in there and say, you know, there's people on here that only recognize Micro Daily as the, and this is a piece of military history. How this started out was military micronutrient formulation, or MMF. And Miss Connie Jo Kirk started out like that when this was it wasn't this exact, package, but we were referring to it as MMF. We needed to make that change to Micro Daily. And with all the names of all the 60,000 different supplements that are out there on the market and the companies' names, I'm so grateful that we have something that is just so straightforward. Micro Daily. I mean, it's what we need to do every day. It's not called Micro Weekly. It's not called Micro Monthly or Micro when I need it. It's Micro Daily, and it does make a big difference. So, Jonathan, I know that really wasn't along the gut health line, but what I do want to share is that
No, that's right along the gut health line. Go ahead.
well, I want to just a conversation that I was having just yesterday with a member of our Micro Daily family. She is a biochemist, and she's saying, "What have you noticed with this new a product?" And I'm saying, "Well, but I'm noticing things with my gut, but I can't absolutely direct it towards that because it's a prebiotic probiotic." And she says, "Whoa, wait just a minute, Jeff." She says, "What you're describing to me," she says, "it's about 3 days worth and you're feeling a difference." And I says, "Well, yes." And she says, "Well, these cells that are lining the gut are replaced every 3 days." And so I'm going, wow. So, the acid reflux, some of these other things that, you just, you eat the wrong thing and man, it hits you right then. Some of these things are just gone in my own situation. And I was going, no, it might just be my mind. Maybe I'm eating a little better because I'm trying to eat something good to take with that capsule. But she corrected me and she says, no, the cells in the lining of the gut are going to be replaced about every 3 days. And she says the only other cell that replaces that quickly are the cells that are in the eyes. And she says they are about 2 days on the replacement. And that's why Dr. Prasad has made such a big deal about Eye Boost. And now that he's been able to launch the probiotics, those cells, you guys, 3 days. I didn't realize that we could get our guts corrected that fast, but we're seeing it, and I'm seeing it, and I wouldn't have believed it until I heard from a biochemist.
Wow. I didn't know that. So that's extremely good to know, Jeff. And thank you very much for sharing that. So that's a bonus testimonial. Therefore, we weren't even we weren't expecting to get that one, but you got two for the price of one in that one. So thank you. So while we're on that subject of gut health, because that's where we were going tonight, and really having those two stories tied together helps us to understand where I'm getting ready to go with this, because our discussion is not going to be very extensive, not going to be a very deep dive. I'm going to just do a kind of a cursory surface study discussion of this, but know that all the words that we're looking at in this word picture relate to you and your gut health and how you feel. Everything on there. But you notice the biggest word there, microbiome. See, the microbiome is a major player in how we feel. And for years, many of us anyway, really took it for granted. Didn't take seriously just how important, how significant that microbiome is. But the human body is made up of somewhere in the area of 10 trillion cells. 10 trillion human cells. That's what you and I are. 10 trillion. But we have about 100 trillion bacteria. Now that's everywhere. That's all over. So if you would look at yourself under a microscope, you would be scared because you wouldn't believe it. It would be like looking at maybe a scene of Jurassic Park, prehistoric ocean with all the creatures that are actually living in you and on you. Yeah, I said on you. That's right. Don't go having nightmares tonight. Please don't do that. But that's about what's going on with our body. Now, inside our body, inside our gut specifically, there's about 39 trillion different bacteria. About 39 trillion. That's about 3 pounds. And that can be very good or very bad. And the reason is because of what you see here in this picture. There are some bad bacteria, and there are some good ones. The problem is that if the bad outweigh the good, that's what's called discomfort. And you know how that goes. You know what it feels like. We all know what it feels like. For example, just one example, E. coli, or Dan Chancellor just the other day was telling us about botulism. But if you have a run-in with botulism, because you made the mistake of going to a fast food restaurant, and that fast food restaurant happened to serve you something that had been sitting around a little bit too long, because they really didn't want to just throw it out. You could end up with botulism. I know what that feels like. It's a terrible, horrible, horrible, horrible feeling. You really feel like your insides are going to want to just burst right out of you. But bad bacteria. There are a whole lot of bad bacteria, out there, but those are two extreme ones: Salmonella, E. coli, botulism, all those kinds of things are in the bad category. You need the good ones. The good ones are great. And by the way, this is another little tip for you. If you want to kill some of the bad bacteria, they love things like xylitol. They love it, but it's not good for them. And it doesn't seem to have any effect on the good bacteria. So just in case you were looking for a sweetener that you could add to your diet that would help kill off some of the bad guys, xylitol. Xylitol is a good way. They eat it up like nobody's business, and it just rips them to shreds. But the good bacteria aren't bothered by it at all. So just a little inside tip. That's a bonus for you. Anyway, probiotics ferment prebiotics to produce butyric acid. I'm glad that our discussion leads off with that, because we'll come back to that a little bit later on, but just pay careful attention to this butyric acid point. That is really a major, major player, because scientists figured out that that has a role as an anti-cancer agent. And scientists, along with the kind of brilliance of the guy who figured out gravity, that's what we have right there. Okay, so these probiotics prevent the gut, prevents attachment of harmful bacteria to the gut. So the more good bacteria you have, the better. But having these probiotics, this positive thing, it helps with that the bad guys from attaching themselves to the wrong place inside your gut. You don't want them, on your stomach lining. But you see the connection with the immune system? Probiotics are critical part of strengthening and supporting the immune system. So what is it that kills good bacteria and causes an unhealthy gut? Well, in the discussion that Dr. Prasad had when they were releasing the new probiotic boost, and Dr. Prasad made reference to an acidic stomach. So if our stomach is highly acidic, then that kills good bacteria. Intestinal inflammatory disease, irritable bowel syndrome, and Crohn's disease. Terrible for gut health. When a person gets sick, no matter what it is, they run to the doctor, and what's one of the first questions that the doctor will ask, whether it's a virus or flu or anything else? And I've seen this. The doctor says, "Do you want me to prescribe an antibiotic?" Now, the doctor has not taken the time to determine whether this antibiotic is going to do any good. They were prescribing antibiotics like it was going out of style, literally prescribing antibiotics for something like a virus. What good is an antibiotic going to do on a viral infectious agent? None whatsoever. I still remember when my sister was in the hospital. This goes back to, what year was that? Maybe about 10, 12 years ago. Maybe a little more, whatever. But she was in the hospital, and her partially collapsed lung. Both her lungs were partially collapsed. She was had oxygen, and they literally had an oxygen tank, looked like a welder's tank in her room, and in Albany, Georgia. And when I got there, the doctor said to me that they don't know what she had, but they do know. They said it was some kind of a bacterial infection, but they didn't know what. They knew that it was not gram negative. That's all he said. So the doctor said directly to me, they knew it wasn't gram negative. Now, gram negative is bad. Someone tell you that there's a gram negative bacteria around, just go the other way. Don't stick around to get more information. If someone's talking about gram negative bacteria, just simply go the other way. Put distance between you and that situation. So he said that we know it's not gram negative, but we don't know what it is. They were slamming her with a broad spectrum antibiotic, trying to kill whatever was trying to kill my sister. And it was very frustrating to see that, because nothing was working. And she'd already gotten word that another friend of hers in the same situation at that time just died about a month before. And they said the circumstances and the diagnosis was pretty much the same. So anyway, I gave my sister something that helped her immune system figure out what the bacterial problem was. Just at that, that's a whole different discussion. But her immune system figured it out. She's still alive now, and it only took 2 or 3 days. They were about to put her in intensive care. So I'm glad my sister decided to listen. But the point I'm making here is this thing about antibiotics. And part of the problem we have with our lives is because of the overuse of antibiotics. And there's another connection between antibiotics as well. In nursing homes, when a person has received prescription medications, after the patient dies, by law, no matter how many unused medications they have there that could be sent back to the pharmacy or back to the pharmaceutical company or back to the drugstore, by law, they are required to destroy those pharmaceutical drugs, no matter what they are. Have a guess how they get rid of them. Anybody, any wild guess as to how they destroy the unused meds when someone in a nursing home dies? They have a machine that takes the blister packs and punches out all the drugs and put them into a big bowl, a big bag, and they flush them down the toilet. They put them into the water system. And there's nothing at the water treatment plants that filters out those drugs, those prescription meds. Nothing filters it out. It ends up back in our drinking water, ends up back in our body. We are consuming antibiotics like it's going out of style. No wonder people are having gut problems. And I don't even have to talk about high fat and high sugar diets, low fiber activity. We don't even have, let's just go on to the next slide. Those are just automatic. And those are the kinds of things that's connected to, as we were saying before, fast foods. But the benefits of a healthy gut is really voluminous. It's connected to the mind, the body, and the immune system. There are so many benefits. And what you just heard Jeff talk about, the connection between a good, healthy gut and the benefits we derive from microdaily and other micronutrients, we could be here all night talking about the benefits of those things. But just know that your gut is at the heart and soul of the benefits you get from microdaily. So if you are investing in your health by consuming microdaily, imagine being able to amplify the benefits by using something good in the gut. 80% of the immune system, by the way, is in the gut. But this is the thing to me that is the most intriguing. The vagus nerve connects the gut with the brain. Do you know that if you have bad bacteria in your, it sends negative and depressive signals to your brain? You literally feel the way your gut is. So the worse your gut is, the worse your mood is. Now, they jokingly put commercials on television that say you need a Snickers. We're not talking Snickers here. Okay, that's how they sell that product. And I'm probably gonna have to delete this when I go to post this. Otherwise, YouTube is gonna shut this down. But they jokingly say that, but there's a direct connection between how you feel and whole mood and what's going on inside our gut. And it's not just because of food. It's not just because sugar levels are low or high. It has directly to do with the gut bacteria in the stomach. If you got a bunch of bad bacteria in there and it's screaming for food, that's going to affect your mood. There have been cases of where they've done total fecal transplants, where they've taken the fecal matter from a non-depressed person, transplanted it into a depressed person, and the depressed person was no longer depressed. Yeah, there's a direct connection between it. And as it's on the list here, even of psychiatric disorders. So if you want to improve control of your mental faculties and your emotions, concentrate on what's in your gut. This gut-brain axis is very, very real, that vagus nerve. There is a correlation between the two. Healthy gut, healthy immune system, that's just basic. the immune system, 80% of your immune system is in the gut. 80% of the immune system is in the gut, and it's not just connected to our immune response. It is directly connected to the good bacteria in our gut versus the bad bacteria in our gut. So what about prebiotics? We don't talk too much about prebiotics in the conversation with probiotics. If you go to the store and you've been searching for a probiotic, very rarely do you say, oh, by the way, I need some food for my probiotics. So do you have any prebiotics also? Well, you should be taking it into consideration, because that good bacteria, if you don't feed it properly, then the bad guys went out. So you have to provide probiotics with a good prebiotic, and that includes fibers and carbohydrates. So the way you eat, the type of diet that you consume is favorable to the good guys versus the bad guys. Prebiotics are fermented to small fatty acids such as butyric acid. There we go again, this butyric acid business. But again, it's all about a good, healthy gut biome. But providing prebiotics, those probiotics, is critically important. And then what about acid-resistant probiotics? Did you know that there was such a thing as acid-resistant and heat-resistant? I didn't, but there are certain probiotics that die when there's acid in the gut. And just for the record, the best time to consume a probiotic is on an empty stomach. So if you get into the habit of maybe just popping one of those things into your mouth right with your first glass of water. So when you wake up in the morning, the first thing you should do is drink a glass of water, about 12 ounces of water. And you might want to just go ahead and cue up your probiotic right at that moment, because now your stomach is empty. And that's the best time to put a good colony of bacteria in your gut and prebiotics to go along with it. That's what you're delivering when you drop in one of Dr. Prasad's probiotics. Very important. But I remember asking Dr. Prasad, about the matter of the recommendation to consume 50 billion international units of probiotics every day. And he kind of laughed. He says, well, I guess you would have to consume that many, because the majority of it's going to be killed in stomach acid. So that's kind of what's stated there at the beginning. 60-80% of probiotics are killed by the acidity of the stomach and heat in the gut long before it makes it to the intestine. So when scientists and product formulators say eat 50 billion international units of it, it's because they know that 80% of it is going to be destroyed long before it makes it into the colon, where it really needs to be. It needs to get past the stomach and make its way into the colon. So that's important. And Dr. Prasad took that into consideration when he formulated his product. Look at the list. The category of the ones that are just average are on the top. The ones that are a little bit better are in the middle, because they also have prebiotics in there. But there's only one that is completely made up of acid-resistant and heat-resistant probiotics. Only one that's made up of acid-resistant and heat-resistant probiotics and prebiotics. That's the one you want to get your hands on. And some of these others, I know that I was spending $75 to $100 for some probiotics, because I was so focused on Joanna's gut, and we couldn't even take a risk of buying something sub-quality or substandard. We had to make sure that it had to be something that was refrigerated, something that was really, really delicate and the best of the best. Now, it turns out we were wasting our money. And that's kind of embarrassing to say, but it's the truth. So benefits of probiotics in a nutshell: improve gut health, decrease acute stress and depression, prevent attachment of harmful bacteria in the gut, reduce inflammation and improve inflammatory bowel disorders. Pay careful attention to that statement, folks. Pay careful attention to that. Reduce inflammation and improve inflammatory bowel disorders, improve immune function, enhance brain and organ function, enhances whole body health. That's my favorite line right there. Enhances whole body health, especially when you combine it with this lineup of goodies. especially when you combine it with that lineup of goodies right there. So everyone should concentrate on your ability to process. If you have made any investment whatsoever in any of these products right here, there should be no question that this is an investment. This is protecting your investment. It's almost like putting wax on your car. If you bother to buy a nice car, put wax on it to protect the paint. Do something to make sure that it's maintained in good condition. That's what adding probiotic boost does. It enhances everything that you're doing with what you invested. Think beyond the products themselves and remember who the formulator is behind everything that we're talking about here. This is a man who spent 30 years as a professor at the University of Colorado. This is a man who was a former president of the International Society of Cancer and Nutrition. This is a man who was a member of the British Society of Medicine, invited to be a Nobel Peace Prize nominated committee in the category of medicine. This is a man who became the first radiation biology PhD back in 1963, finished a 7-year course in half the time. His products have been awarded 7 patents. 7 patents. I think we're up to like 8 or 9 now, but at the time of this printing, that's what it was. This is the man who was able to get past Congress and help Congress to understand that they should stroke a check for $12.5 million toward research, all in conjunction with the U.S. military and NASA and government agencies, all focused in on micronutrients and human health. This is the man who passed all of their rigorous requirements to get to that point. He's also the guy who figured out that vitamin E succinate is cytotoxic to cancer cells. But remember, I told you to keep in mind this butyric acid. Remember that? Told you about that before, that there was a brilliant scientist who figured out the connection between butyric acid and is behaving as an anti-cancer agent. This is the guy who did that. Dr. Prasad was the one who is credited with that. He wrote the first paper that's right now in the National Library of Medicine, PubMed. Since he wrote that paper, there's 400 to 500 more papers that have been written on butyric acid, but that's the guy who figured it out first. He's authored 32 books now. He just released his 32nd book, 87 years old, 3 months away from being 88. He just released the latest book on depression. And in fact, we'll put a link to that in Amazon. I highly recommend that everybody go buy that book. In fact, I suggest you just go search for and collect all of his books is what I recommend. I've got about 10 of them so far. It's not a novel. It's not the kind of thing you sit down and you're waiting to see what happens in the last chapter. Does the good guy win or the bad guy win? The good guy, because that's the guy who's it, and your education will go up as a result of it. But he's been published more than 250 times in peer-reviewed medical publications also. So just think about the accolades. Think about the brilliance of the man. This is a world-class scientist. And he a bunch of products we all know we're benefiting from. And what was the woman's name at the very beginning, Jeff? I can't remember her name now. Anyway, some of you guys saw the presentation. Those of you who were here at the beginning, it was an outstanding story. She had more problems than I've ever heard of in one person. And yet she benefited from the original formula. And this brilliant man has gone on to add to that. Plus, he now has given us access to probiotic. So wrap your mind around that. And then think about what I said earlier. The food that we're eating, it's been stripped of its nutritional value. And what you see here, you're saying to yourself, oh, that's so nice. They're watering the garden. No, they're not. They're spraying Roundup on the food. That's Roundup. And now I know you feel good because they're saying to you that, okay, well, the Roundup is safe, it's harmless. And once they irrigate the ground, it's going to be okay. And the plants are just going to absorb only the water in the ground. They're not the Roundup that's being sprayed all over the field. That's not true. right now, juries are awarding people who bring lawsuits against Monsanto and Bayer, article, $2.05 billion was awarded to a couple. $2.05 billion was awarded to a couple that claimed that this weed killer caused their cancer. And the jury believed it. They won the lawsuit. And now, and there's been others, by the way. There's been more than $10 billion in awards. I think it's far more than $10 billion. That was 3 or 4 years ago. There's been far more than $10 billion that's been awarded in damages for Roundup. And now this same weed killer has been found in 80% of all oats and cereals. 80% of them. So everybody who's eating Cheerios, the cardboard box that the Cheerios comes in has more nutritional value than the Cheerios itself. I know I got to delete that from YouTube also because because that's my personal viewpoint, by the way. So, but 80% of all oats and grains are loaded with Roundup now. And if you say to yourself, what's the big deal? The immune system just handles it. It's not really causing a problem for me. Well, that's actually not true. This is just a brief snippet of the diseases. There's been more than 200 different diseases associated with weed killer being in your diet. Okay, more than 200 different diseases that have been linked to weed killer being in your diet. And one of them, as you can see right here, look at this, inhibiting the shikimate pathway. I don't even know what that is, but found in gut bacteria. That's the only part of that stood out to me. So one of these days I'll come back and I'll tell you, do some research on that and figure out what that is. Okay. But chelating important minerals, extremely important. Oh, by the way, shall we just go ahead and mention this one too? Disrupting your microbiome by acting as an antibiotic. That's another downside of weed killer being in your diet. And then the very next one. Now, this one I asked Dr. Prasad about on camera. Impairing methylation pathways. He answered the question as to what that means. See, the body has to convert certain nutrients like B9 and B12 into a form that can be absorbed by the body. Well, weed killer impairs that methylation pathway. So I asked Dr. Prasad about that. Does that mean then that the methylated microdaily could potentially bypass that impaired pathway? He said yes. He said yes. So there's another reason, just one reason right there, to make sure that you're doing at least the methylated form of microdaily. At least one reason right there. Because the methylated, you don't have to worry about that methylation pathway being impaired. And by the way, just so you know it, no matter how organic and how clean you eat, we're all getting some weed killer because they found a way to hide it in almost everything. But the more organic and the cleaner you eat, the better, the less the chances are that you're getting weed killer. So you want to cut out as much of it as possible from your diet. But while you're doing that, understand, help your gut biome by making sure that you have more of Dr. Prasad's formulas in your life. So if we have more of the microdaily in our life, if we have the methylated form or the EMF formula, then our gut is happier. If we have the correct probiotic with prebiotics, the one that is acid resistant and heat resistant, if we have that as part of our diet, we got a better chance of living a healthier life, a much healthier life. And all to the credit of this man right here, Dr. Kedar Prasad. We're very fortunate to have access to his brain and what he has decided to leave as a legacy for mankind. So we're going to stop right there with those are the only slides that I want to show you tonight. And see if there's any questions first on what we discussed here. Jeff has another video that we're going to show of someone sharing one of the benefits that they've had from one of the of Dr. Prasad's products, but we'll get to that in a minute. So let's just see if we have any questions first before we conclude our discussion with one of those testimonials. And if you've had a particular testimony, especially if it's something with the gut, you know, we want to hear that. So please share that with us. So Lori from Ohio has a question or comment. Please go ahead, Lori.
So
And feel free to camera if you like. You're not.
Okay. Yeah. So I actually have questions. Or if there's anyone on here who has taken the probiotic boost that, you know, has a testimonial. I'm someone who suffers from a lot of digestive issues, and I have spent a lot of money on different probiotics. And so I have something that's called methane dominant SIBO. And it is very taxing on my digestive system and causes a lot of issues. So my question about this probiotic is, number one, is it spore based? In other words, is it a soil based probiotic? That's one question. And then the other, I heard you mentioning in your talk, your presentation about probiotics should be taken on an empty stomach. But a lot of them say you should take it with food. I think that might say it for this particular probiotic as well. So those are my questions. I know that was a lot. I'm sorry.
No. Good question. SIBO is just horrible. My wife suffered with that. And so I've been through that, and I know what's involved. It took months and a great deal of work and a great deal of determination to get her past that. So you got a battle on your hand. Are you doing Sovereign Silver, by the way?
I actually am new to the micro daily supplements, so I haven't started.
I'm not talking about, that's not a micro supplement. I'm talking about Sovereign Silver.
No, I have not. I've taken colloidal silver before, but not sovereign silver.
Find yourself Sovereign Silver, okay? You can get that at almost any grocery store. Just buy the largest quantity. It's expensive. But buy the largest quantity of it and drink about an ounce of it a couple times a day. That'll start killing a lot of the bad bacteria off. So that'll start helping to beat down the bad guys. Add xylitol to your diet also.
Okay. I'm sorry. I wanted to mention one more thing, because I've taken Xifaxan 3 times and it does not help me at all. It is very hard on your liver.
You said Xifaxan. What's that?
It's a medicine that's prescribed, you know, by a medical doctor. It's a pharmaceutical drug, and it is. People that suffer with SIBO would be familiar with it, and it makes me very sick. So yeah, I need help.
Okay, yeah, no, we can leave that out, but my statement was about adding xylitol to your diet.
I would try that. I've never heard of that before.
Yeah, it's a natural sweetener, and the bad bacteria eat it up like candy, and it kills them. It's poison to them.
Okay.
And it's just it's sugar to us, but it's poison to the bad bacteria. So add that to your diet, number one, and find the best colostrum you can find, and that'll help to get your gut biome in line. So those are 3 additional benefits.
Okay.
On top of all that, the absolute best probiotic you can put in your gut is going to be Dr. Prasad's. And yes, I don't care what anybody tells you about eating it with food. It's the acid in the stomach that kills most of that bacteria.
Okay.
The only acid resistant one that we found so far, with all acid resistant and heat resistant, the only one is the one Dr. Prasad has formulated. So I will never buy another one. And my wife is no longer suffering with SIBO. She does fine with this. She's got the most sensitive gut. Her and my mother-in-law have the most sensitive gut in the world. So you'd be a walk in the park after what I've been through.
Okay, well, thank you for the information. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Thank you for your questions. And I'm
Could
not
you
sure about this thing.
repeat the three suggestions?
Sovereign Silver, xylitol, and the best colostrum you can find. The company that I'm connected to, Amerix Bioscience, I'm biased because it's the best one I've been able to find, is the best colostrum I've ever found so far. It's at amerixbio.com, AMERXBIO.com. That's the best colostrum I found on the planet so far. It's not cheap, but it's the one that I give my mother-in-law, my wife. That's the only one that we use. So it's phenomenal. Two teaspoons of that, or a tablespoon or two before every meal. Unbelievable. And the bad bacteria hate it. They hate it. But the good guys, you can hear the good guys having a party in your gut, boy, when you put that stuff in there.
What could you repeat the website again, please? Thanks.
Amerix, AMERXBIO.com. AmerixBio.com. Okay. But again, I'm not sure about that soy-based thing, but I didn't see any soy connection to the product. But I'll find out about that one too. So I'm glad you asked that question earlier as well. James has a comment or question.
What about the one that we was talking about? Is that gonna be with a package deal?
A package deal with
Probiotic boost.
the probiotic boost. That's a good question, James. I don't know. I've not heard about that yet. I think if the product itself starts really having an impact on the company, I'm pretty sure that Dave Nemelka and them will probably consider that. The probiotic boost is one of those things where after you get your gut biome under control, you don't need to take it every day. So it may take you 90 days or so to get your gut flora corrected. But after that, you can literally take it maybe 3 or 4 times a week. You don't have to go through it every single day once you get your gut biome under control. Okay.
Okay. Okay, well, let me know what they do.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for your question. Alfreda is one of our co-hosts. Go ahead, please.
Hi. How would I know that it's been corrected?
Very good question. A couple of things will happen. Your mood will get really well. First of all, most people will start having a really good attitude and will have less Snickers moments. Number one. And then they will usually have more consistent bowel movements. And a consistent bowel movement should be, this is what should be normal. What's normal should be 1 meal in, 1 meal out. There are literally people who have bowel movements once or twice a week. And that's mind-boggling, no pun intended. That should never be the case. So once everything normalizes, then you can start reducing it. But you'll be able to tell, when our body is removing toxins properly, it hits like a brick in the toilet. It's gone. But when it's not removing toxins properly, we are miserable and simply uncomfortable. So good question. Thank you. Patricia Anderson has a question.
Yes. So would you recommend the xylitol? Did you say the Sovereign Silver? Is that what you said?
Sovereign Silver, yeah.
The colostrum, in addition to Dr. Prasad's digestive? Nothing
displaces Dr. Prasad's formula. Every being should be consuming Dr. Prasad's probiotic. It's the only probiotic that should be being consumed on the planet, in my opinion. But for someone who's fighting SIBO, see, that first question was SIBO is small intestinal bacteria overload. So the small intestine has massive amounts of bad bacteria. It creates bloating and discomfort that is miserable. And for some people, it causes spatial displacement, literally causes the lungs to not have enough movement. So people can be gasping for air and having trouble breathing. and it's all because of the gut being messed up. So
Oh,
that can be one of the reasons, could be because of SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overload. So that's what that first question was about. So in those cases, when a person is dealing with SIBO, they need to knock down the bad bacteria. Now, if there is no reason to knock down the bad bacteria, the only thing, in my opinion, that complements what Dr. Prasad is the colostrum. I think colostrum should be kept, period. If you run into botulism, if you run into salmonella, if you run into anything, a little bit of that colostrum knocks it right out. It's unbelievable what it does, but never does anything displace Dr. Prasad's formula.
okay. Because the reason why I was asking that is because I have like a full feeling all the time. It seems like I'm full as soon as I eat some, so I know that's directly related to my digestive system.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And it very well could be that that's what you're dealing with, is small intestinal bacterial overload. But if you're not feeling massive amounts of bloating, and not super flagellant, then it's probably not it. It just may be that you just need more good bacteria in your gut and you'll be fine.
Yeah, no, I do have the bloating. So thank you for reminding me of that. But I did want to ask you this, though. I started taking the recommended regimen of Dr. Prasad's, and I was actually sharing it with my mother, and I ran out early. And the very next day, I could feel a difference. So it wasn't like my fatigue just came back. It wasn't like it's just how I felt in my body. And I knew that it was directly related to the CBD, the collagen, the MCT, the eye boost. My eyes were feeling fabulous. And then it was just one day, though, I recognized that there was a huge difference in the way my body actually felt. So I'm waiting on my shipment right now, just to let you know. And of course, my mother is now a fan of Micro Daily. But I did want everyone to know that it's not something that I love listening to the testimonies, but it's something you must experience for yourself. Because if you don't experience it for yourself, then you have no idea how it's going to work. So I just wanted to say that in the very end. But I was having gut challenges, and I was looking at pre and probiotics, and I was wondering, why didn't he do a pre and a pro? Because the pro just takes care of it all, or what would you say?
No, the prebiotic is just the food for the probiotic, and it just helps the probiotic, the good guy, stay nice and healthy. So it's providing food for the prebiotic, for the probiotic, so it's, the combination is just unbeatable. You have to have it.
And it's in Dr. Prasad's formula. You have both pre and pro.
They're both
both of
together.
them.
Correct.
Okay, perfect. So now I can get rid of the bloating as well. So thank you very much.
Yes, you can. Thank you very much for your question, and thank you for that feedback too. My sister just 2 days ago said something very similar. She said that she made the mistake of running out, and her whole body pain. My sister suffers with whole body arthritis and fibromyalgia and all kinds of problems. She said she went a few days, and that's when she knew.
Yes.
She said she had all of the pain from she went from 0 to 10, just like that. And so she will never run out of that again. So I encourage everybody, build up a reservoir. Look, we just had a supply chain issue where EMF was not shipping. Everybody should have a 90-day buffer. And I think everybody should have a 6-month buffer. I think just build a buffer. Don't play around with it. Don't be dependent on one shipment. Build a buffer.
Okay, perfect. My mother just wanted me to ask you. She's 88 years old. She's not on any medication. She walks about 2 miles a day, and she just wanted to know what was good for arthritis.
Micro Daily.
Micro Daily.
Yep, and collagen. It'd be good if she does Micro Daily and collagen daily. She put those together. I ran out of collagen daily because everybody in the house is eating it. I only factored in maybe me and Joanna, but now it turns out everybody here is dipping into my stuff. So I ran out, and my hand right here, oh my goodness, I can't even believe it. I didn't even know I had a problem there until I found somebody missed, some of the collagen somebody missed. The day that I put some of that collagen back in my body, this is all gone. I mean, it was at a point where I couldn't hold a cup and squeeze it. I was dropping things with my hand. But the minute that I put the collagen back in my body, and mind you now, I'm still taking lots of micro daily, but for some reason, the collagen is what took care of this finger right here. Okay.
Well, I didn't share that with you, but I'm a recovering quadriplegic, and that has been a great help for me.
Oh,
So,
wow.
I mean, I can move. I mean, I'm up walking, moving, riding. But I mean, I can do all things now because I'm just recovered. It's just the last few tidbits that I'm trying to, create for my body to move a little bit better. And I sent you that email and I didn't get a response. So it must have gone to spam, that Elfrida told me, but I never got it. So
Yeah, it's probably in spam.
no, I did. I checked it. It's not there. So,
Okay. I'll send it again.
okay, my dear. Thank you.
We're connected. Very good. Thank you, Patricia. Boy, I thought we were going to get enough testimony here. We're not getting it. Adelina, please. Go ahead, Adelina.
Hi, how are
So
you?
good to see you again.
I first wanted to say that I agree with, I think it was Patricia, about how good it makes you feel. The microdaily EMF has made a huge difference in my arthritis, fibromyalgia, even just nerve pain all over. I'm usually in pain head to toe. So,
Like my sister.
yeah, it's made a huge difference. And adding the collagen peptide, wow, it's just I told you about my knees and how they're just gone, just nothing left there. And I could barely walk. Well, since I've been on the collagen, it's made a huge difference.
Wow.
Walking around, I went to, my husband usually has to leave me in the car while he goes in and do everything for me. But hey, I said, hey, I can go myself. And he was like, what? I said, yeah, I'm going in the store myself. I went in over the weekend. I went in 2 days, we were out and about, and I did my own walking. So I'm scared. I don't know what, I don't know what to think. It's been like this for the last few days. So I'm watching and paying attention. So, but the question that I had.
Don't start running and playing basketball, okay? Just take it slow.
No, I know I better not do that because my spine won't let me do that. But
Okay.
I have a question. I have a young lady that has Crohn's disease, and it's like the worst, at the worst level. She's had a lot of her intestines removed. She's in the hospital like every other week. She's down to 105 pounds. And so I'm wondering, would the probiotic be the thing for her along with the microdaily EMF or what?
Yeah, that I would highly recommend. The probiotic is going to be a big help. That's one of the items that good bacteria promotes, because with Crohn disease, it's autoimmune in nature. So it would also be very good if they do a good healthy amount of microdaily, and keep that going. And I would also add the collagen, because for rebuilding, the body knows where to send those peptides to build connective tissue, and that's inflammation. It's a horrible condition. But I would highly recommend, if they can afford it, in order, and that's where the problem comes in for a lot of people. If they can't afford the EMF, go with the original formula, or just a hydro or the original formula, and open the capsules. So one of the original ones, just for the sake of cost, and then probiotics, and then if they can afford it, some of the collagen peptide. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you very much for asking your question. By the way, folks, for some of you who may not know Adelina, we go back about 15 or so years, 20 years? It goes back that 15, about 15 years.
About 15 or 20, yeah, about 15 years.
And Adelina was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. Yeah, and she was not like that person who said, I would rather die. She said, I would rather live. And she did everything she was recommended to do, and she's still here to tell the story. She did everything that she was recommended to do. And she had everybody, her whole support network was supporting her and bringing organic stuff and dropping it on her porch and everything. And one day she called up about, I don't know, 3 years later or so. And she said, you remember me? I said, I don't remember you from Adam. And that was it. She was determined to be alive, and she's still here. So that's why I get excited every time I see Adeline on our program. So thank you, Adeline, for listening.
That was 11 years ago. I was 54, I think.
11 years ago.
Yeah.
So that's
65. So I'm happy to be here.
that's wonderful, and we're happy that you are here. So anyway, I just wanted to throw that in there for you guys. Larry
Thank you.
Palmer. Larry Palmer is trying to
Yes.
ask a question or make a comment. Please go ahead, Larry Palmer.
Yes. My wife suffers from diverticulitis. And I'm trying to figure if this stuff will help her.
Jeff, do you have any diverticulitis stories particularly?
I don't have any videos that I've captured, but we've had amazing experiences. And the combination of the microdaily EMF and now this new incredible probiotic boost. Those two would be a fantastic approach to helping the gut.
All right.
I used to have diverticulosis, but I know I can eat nuts, popcorn, all the stuff you're not supposed to eat.
Yeah, you can't eat that. Yeah.
With that, and so, but I don't have that problem anymore. They told me that years ago when I had a colon screening.
Okay.
So it's about 8 years ago, but I don't have that problem anymore. It doesn't bother me.
So Larry, I hope that kind of helps you. The suggestion is the microdaily EMF and the probiotic would be a very wise addition to her diet. Okay, so this is the food that's missing from food. The inflammation associated with diverticulitis would no doubt be benefited by it, and removing the toxins from the body will play a big role. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for asking your question. And Dolores has a comment. We're getting right down to the end here.
I got a question, Jonathan. In reference to the soy in the probiotic, it would be on the bottle, right? If it was there. I've looked up and down, across, around. It's not there.
Yeah, there's no soy in it.
There's no soy in it.
Mm-hmm.
No, there's actually quite a list. I mean, Dr. Prasad talks about the main two strains being acid resistant and heat resistant. But if you were to actually pull the label up on the screen and look at it right there, there's 15 different strains in there. This is our proprietary probiotic blend. And if you go down to the proprietary prebiotic blend at the bottom, it's pretty incredible, but you have to really zoom in on it because it's so small on the bottle. But so I blew it up here in this picture, but look at all of the different strains of bacteria that are there. And that's part of that CQF. Dr. Prasad understands what is important and what is not. So yeah, looking at that, you can count each one of them up, Bifidobacterium, Lactobacillus, there is much more there than you would typically see on any just probiotic that you would pull off the shelf or out of the refrigerated section of your grocery store. So
yeah,
big
that's
difference.
fantastic. Good picture too. I'm glad you shared that.
500 milligrams in that prebiotic blend. It's a huge amount of prebiotics that are all right there. And Jonathan, excellent job in describing it. That is the food that the probiotics consume. I mean, that's what they eat. Is the prebiotics. So and that Dr. Prasad's discovery of the immense benefits of butyric acid are just that back in 1980 is when he figured that out. So he's had a passion to create a product like this that could help us benefit from butyric acid longer than it was 2001 when he was originally approached by the military for the micro daily product. But
Wow.
it goes back 40 years ago with his experience with the gut. So this is an incredible product.
Wow. We got another question that's been asking about gluten. This is a gluten-free product. I mean, everything Dr. Prasad has been producing thus far is completely gluten-free, correct?
In fact, more than just gluten-free, it's going to help you with gluten intolerances because you get your gut right, you get the right bacteria in there, the prebiotic, probiotic. Issues with gluten intolerance are on their way out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just telling you that we started this program out. And I'm saying 3 days, and it's made a difference for me. And there is some gluten intolerance that I've been dealing with, and it's all of my fingers are all crossed. But that's why I said, could it happen? Could it happen that quickly? 3 days?
Yep, and the answer is yes. Joanna has been gluten-free for a long time. She has no problem tolerating any of Dr. Prasad's formulas.
Yeah,
nothing. And she's highly sensitive to many things. So
but even what I'm saying though is you add the probiotic in there,
Yeah.
and my gluten intolerance has eased.
start to go down.
I'm not being triggered by what I was.
Yep.
So
Very
Yeah.
good. Very good. Excellent. Let's get this one last question in, Doris, since we've already gone over time. Doris Critter. You still there, Doris? Okay.
Yes.
Oh, there we go.
Doris Crider.
Crider.
Yes. I mean, the testimonials are just outstanding, and I just can't wait until my products get here. But I had asked you about if there was any testimonials about lymphedema. And you were telling me, you would try to have someone here, but I don't know if anybody's here.
No, that's the one that that was the second one that we were going to play tonight. So thank you very much for that reminder. So Jeff, by chance, can you get that lymphedema testimony?
I haven't pulled it out of the feed. I mean, if Doris could give us until Thursday night,
Okay.
and I'll have it done. Yes, amazing.
I thought I had extracted it also, but I can't find it right now either.
Yeah.
But Doris, is that okay? Can we do that on Thursday?
We have to.
Okay.
Well, that really makes me feel bad now.
Yep, I understand.
Maybe your
Doris.
products will be there. Maybe we're all waiting for you. Your products will be there just as you get to watch the video, and so you'll know.
All right, thank you.
We can tell you this, Doris. We've had more than one story, and the most dramatic one is the one that Jeff is going to show you on Thursday evening, where in just a couple of days, this woman, she just told her whole story. She had one leg that was about 250 pounds by itself. And her lymphatic system just released. It opened wide up, and she just lost, tons and tons of weight just by her lymphatic system opening up, and her whole lymphedema just went under control. Okay.
Well, I sure want to hear that.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So you'll be happy that it'll be worth the wait.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your patience, and thank you for reminding us.
All right.
So, okay, folks. So there we have it. We promised we were going to talk about the probiotic and the benefits of probiotic boost. There's a direct connection between good bacteria, and how we feel, how we think, and how we enhance our health, are benefiting from micronutrients. So we encourage you to add that to your subscription. And if you have not done so, I ordered 3 or 4 bottles right away. I'm going to order some more just to make sure do not run out of these amazing products. So testimonials are purely anecdotal. Keep that in mind, please. What happens to one person may or may not happen to you. These comments have not been evaluated by the FDA. I'm not a medical doctor. Don't claim to be one. Don't do anything I say just because I say it. I strongly recommend that you seek the competent medical advice of professionals that you trust. I'm just a researcher. I'm passing on public information that's available to anyone. If you want any of the sources, just send me an email or contact Jeff, and I'll be happy to pass on the sources of any of the information that I've shared with you up until now. Now we have another phenomenal presentation that's going to be given this coming Thursday evening. Probably Jeff will be happy to take the lead in that one, because he's going to be sharing that lymphedema presentation with us on Thursday. That's at 6 o'clock p.m. 6 o'clock p.m. This same Zoom ID and password. Then Sunday at 5 o'clock, I'm interviewing Dr. Prasad about cancer. We had one cancer discussion this past Saturday, but this Sunday. This coming Sunday at 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, we'll be interviewing Dr. Prasad. He's written a number of books on the connection between nutrition and how the body deals with cancer. We're going to be talking about that this Sunday. So you want to have everyone that you know on that meeting this coming Sunday. And Jeff, are there any other announcements that we need to let everybody know about?
You know what, Jonathan, I was going to come on and say that those of you that are interested in the probiotic and have not added it to your subscription, we have until midnight tomorrow night. As soon as it clicks over and the calendar says September, you're going to spend $5 more for each bottle of the probiotic boost. And so definitely add it to your subscription or subscriptions. In the case, Helen is getting a bottle, I'm getting a bottle. We've got several of our kids that are getting bottles. So we need to make sure that they're on the subscription. It doesn't have to process between now and tomorrow, but it has to be your subscription needs to be added. Correct.
Add it to your subscription. That's worth it. Thank you very much for sharing that valuable piece of information. Okay, very good. Thank you very much, Jeff, for all of your support, and thank everyone for joining us tonight. We appreciate your presence, and we value your time and your attention, and we feel it's a privilege. It's a pleasure and a privilege to be able to share information that we find that could be of value to you. So you folks have a good night.
Good night.
Night, everybody.
Thank you. Jeff.
Bye, everybody.
Good night.
Good
Good night, Jonathan. Good night,
Good
Jeff.
night.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you.
Rose.
Great job.
Thank you very
Great.
much.
Great information. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all for joining.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.